What is up, everybody? My name is Robert Harris from Optical Noise Photography. Today's video I've been wanting to do for a while, but we want to do a talk over Luminar. So Luminar 4 is standalone software or plugins for your Photoshop, and you can do quite a lot of stuff with it. Their biggest feature that made them famous is the sky replacement. So I'm going to show you that, and I'm going to show you some of the AI features plus some of the little things that I like to use. So this is pretty much my 5 reasons for why I think people should try Luminar. If it's not for you, it's okay, but I think everybody must give it a go. And there's a free trial that you can get from the link below. And yeah, let me show you my 5 favorite things about Luminar 4. All right, so we are in Luminar right now. This is kind of how it works. It looks like, it's pretty much like Lightroom with some Photoshop features in it. That's how I like to see it. The reason Luminar got quite big is because of their sky replacement feature. So I'll show you how that works. All of these pictures are my original sky. This is unedited JPEGs. I will show you how that works. The reason people would like this is if you're a Lightroom user, but you don't like Photoshop, it's a bit complicated, but you want to do those few extra steps, you don't need that software. Or for people who don't want to pay for Lightroom and Photoshop at all, but they still like how Lightroom works, this is a once-off purchase. You don't have to pay a monthly fee. And then you get everything built in, which is things to help with skin, things to help with the sky, smart adjustments for AI stuff. So it's a very cool app, and I think everybody should give it at least one go. The trial version is free. You can use my link down below. I'm saying this ahead of time. I don't get paid for this. This is not a sponsored video, but if you do download the trial, I get a little bit of a thank you. And then if you actually purchase the software, like full on buy it, then I obviously get a little bit more. So use the links, it supports me, supports my channel. If you guys enjoy this content, I'll go further into Luminar and show you more things you can do inside of it. But for now, I just want to show you my 5 reasons of why I love it. Okay, so the first reason would be not using Lightroom as a whole. I tend to still use Lightroom because I like the system, and I go from Lightroom to Photoshop, and I use this sometimes. But if you didn't want to, you could pretty much import all your raw files and then do everything through here. So these are JPEGs, but this is a raw file. So this is all of a metric dance that I did. And then I want to show you, so we'll take up this is a raw file, but you can do everything you do in Lightroom to the raw file, plus some skin stuff, plus replace the sky if you wanted to, and then a lot of little tweaks that I love. So let me show you working down from the top. So in this light panel is the basic Lightroom thing. So we've got contrast, we've got exposure, we've got tint, temperature, lights, darks, and then this advanced settings, you've got whites, blacks, and curves. So for me, I always want to throw in a little bit of contrast, okay, and then I would bring up the exposure a little, and I'll bring down the blacks, and then I'll bring up the shadows, and then I'll bring up the highlights, stuff like that. And then that's my first thing I would do. And then you pull up temperature maybe a little bit. It was a cloudy day. And then the curves, you can obviously do some color grading stuff where you add in blacks to a certain area, add in blues to the blacks a little bit, and then dropping the blue to make it orange. And then, so this is the kind of color grade thing I would do in Lightroom for presets and stuff. But this is just a little bit of an advanced feature, and you don't have to bother with it too much. So these settings are very much like Lightroom, and you'll feel very at home using those exact settings. So from there, we're gonna hide this. Okay, next one. This is a feature you will love. The AI accent, it's gonna automatically guess what's going on there. It almost works reverse to contrast, but also adds in stuff. So it's adding contrast while dropping the highlights, upping the shadows, and adding color into the area. So if I pull this up, you'll see the greens are getting a bit more vibrant. Her dress is getting a bit more vibrant. And then if you look in this area over here, the highlights will be coming down. You see the highlights coming down, and then the shadows are coming up. So a lot of time you can just come up, pull this in a bit, and then have that good to go. And then let's just go out of there. And then what I would do, structure. So structure is like clarity on Lightroom. So it makes it a bit crunchy if you go overboard, which I don't do. So we'll leave that. Let's just reset that. And then obviously color, you can do your saturation up, you can do your vibrance up, and then that gives you a bit of a color boost to your raw file. After that, the other thing I love about this program is the detail enhancer. So if you look at this file, sometimes you want a little bit more sharpness, and the sharpness sliders on Lightroom are very confusing. On this, it's very simple. So you've got a small details, medium details, large details. And often you don't want to touch the other two. You just take this one and you pull it up, and you'll see it will instantly make this image a bit more sharp. So let me show you off, on. Look at that. That's without any effort. That's just 20%. If I make it full, it's obviously too much. But if you take it to like 16-ish, pretty good. Then you don't have to mess with all those other slides, because these will enhance other stuff like bigger detail, like blurry stuff and so on. So you don't want to mess with those two. And then you've got another sharpen slider here, which will just sharpen everything. That is your basic settings inside of Luminar, which is very similar to Lightroom. So if you wanted to stop there, you could. Let's jump right into the reason why Luminar is quite famous, is for this sky replacement. Now Photoshop just updated, and you can actually do sky replacement in the app itself. It's very easy. However, I still like how Luminar does it. I don't know if it's the way the AI works, or if it's just because you can tweak it a bit further inside here without knowing what you're doing. And I want to show you guys how that works. So very, very simple. We're gonna go into edit, and then we're gonna go, okay, so this is the other thing I want to show you. So if we go into, let's go straight into AI enhance. We're gonna pull the AI accent up. You can see it's already made the sky a bit better, but because it can notice in the artificial intelligence that there's a sky, when you pull the sky enhance up, it's going to bring down the brightness, and it's going to put some saturation in. So let's see what it does. So you can see it's already making it more colorful, right? So this is a great feature if you want to recover the original sky that's usually been blown out because you had to overexpose for the subject, right? But the main reason this app is awesome is if you go into this creative tab, you go into sky replacement, and then all you do is you choose one. So these are ones that come with it. If you are the type of person who goes out and shoots a lot of their own skies, so if you're shooting sunsets and rainbows and all kinds of stuff, you can save them and you can put them into photos later on. So that's the better way to do this, because everybody has these. So often your skies are going to start looking the same because it's the same skies everybody owns. So because it was a blue sky, I'm gonna click blue sky. So we'll just try number one. Boom. So that looks a bit fake. So we want to get one that's a bit softer and matches the mood a bit better. I think in my original edit I actually put a sunset in. So let me show you. Let's see what else there is. So like this works quite well. It's a soft sky. You can see the reason why the software works so well is because it put a blue sky in. It also put some blue onto them, which is weird right now, but I'll show you why it works well. If we go into something like, let's go into dramatic sunset. That's too much. Let me see. Almost. Like that works kind of well. But let's see what else is there. All right, so I like this one. This one's very subtle. I think this is the one I actually used in the video. So what we do now is you can move the horizon around, you can move the relight scene. So this will add even more color onto the rest of the photo, or less color onto the rest of the photo, okay? And then the one thing I like to do is go into advanced and then go into the defocus, because this is the problem. They're in focus, right? The background's blurry. Now the sky can't be in focus, it doesn't make sense. So all you need to do is defocus it, just defocus it quite a bit. And then it goes from being fake looking to pretty real. Now I've done no extra tweaks, I've just clicked it. The parts where you can see it's very impressive is like things around this. These leaves are obviously been blown out, so it's a bit weird looking here, but it's been blown out. So in Photoshop, I would just mask this a little, but as a one-click option, you can see how well it works. Okay, I want to show you guys on another photo. So let's do this one. So this one is a photo I shot in Bethlehem with Bailey and them. So I want to show you, if we go to AI Sky Enhancer, you can see it brings back the sky pretty well without any, look, it doesn't do anything to a leg. It's just pulling down the sky. But if we go into here, we can replace it with another blue sky. Let's do blue sky 6. Boom. Now let's do blue sky 2. Yeah, that's not bad. And then we defocus it quite a bit. Boom. Okay, so what you can see there is before, after. Okay, This is not going to be 100% all the time. You obviously have parts where the AI thinks her foot must be part of the sky, but this is done pretty good for the amount of blown out sky that's done. So we'll do one more. We'll do this one of sunshine. Let's try, so this was near sunset, so let's try a sunset one. Ooh, that's not a good one. Let's see this one. Let's do this one. Boom. See, now that's the one. You're gonna have to try a bunch of different ones to make it match the color tone of her, and then use that one. So the other thing you obviously have to do is defocus the sky a bit so it doesn't look fake. I wanted to show you on here. So this is the real sky. That was what was happening that day. Came out really cool. If I enhance it a bit, you can see it brings it down a little. We'll do some accent on it. And now I would leave it like that. But if you felt like it, or the client moaned about it, you can put a different sunset in here. And it would, see, it does a pretty good job. You'll see even around the buildings and stuff, it's adding a pretty good mask around it. Let's try a different sunset. See, so as long as you can find one with a similar color and similar look to it, you can see you can kind of replace it with a click of one button. And you can obviously make the temperature a bit up. You can bring the exposure up or down to match. Let's try the third one also. Let's see what that one does. A little bit harsh. Boom. So that works pretty well too. And then obviously defocus the sky just to make it look real. And there you have a different sky. Boom, boom. One click. Now you can do this better in Photoshop if you have the time, but most people won't even know the difference between us. Another reason people will love the software is the AI skin and portrait effects you can do to the image. So if you're not a Photoshop person, you don't want to go through the cleaning up skin, you can just go into AI skin enhancer, click the defects removal. When you zoom in, you'll see there's some marks on her face, not a lot, she's got pretty good skin. You're just going to pull the amount up and you'll see what it does to her skin. Okay, the good thing about this is when it blurs the skin, it's adding the detail back over it. So you're left with a sharp photo with prettier skin. So if I show you this before and after, let me just go off, on. It's even removed the mole, which is not great. This is why I use it in Photoshop, but I just want to show you what it does. So see what it does? Boom, boom. Instantly fixed it, okay? You can also see you've got a shine removal here. So this area, which is not a bad shine, I don't mind it, but if someone had oily skin, you could kind of get rid of it a bit. It just softens it a bit so you can see less of that shine. And then let's go into AI Portrait Enhancer. This is another feature with portraits that I love. You can add light to the face. I'm not going to do that one, but you can do things like eye enhancer, which will bring out the colors. You can do eye whitening, which will bring out the whites, and then obviously slim eyes, eyebrows. This will make your eyebrows a bit darker. You got light lip saturation, you got lip redness, you got darkening. All these things you can just kind of pull and enhance the picture a little bit without having to know how to do it in Photoshop. Great tool for people who don't want to do Photoshop but just want to enhance their client just a little bit so they feel good about themselves. Alright, so another thing you can use the portrait enhancer for is actually to clean up skin on bodies. So you can see on a skin here the patchiness that you would normally have to smooth out with airbrushing. You can kind of just click this button and pull it up and you'll see a lot of the marks on her body. I don't know if I can go further. If you look at the marks on her body, if I turn it off and on, it's just cleaned it. It hasn't taken away any of the detail that you've got going on here. It's just cleaned it up a little, and that's a very cool feature for people who have full body shots of girls in bikinis and stuff. If you want to just enhance the skin tone without the hours of airbrushing, super simple tip. Try it. All right, and then getting into the more professional and the creative settings, if you go into this one, if you go into these things, so you've got dramatic, matte, mystical, those three, they've got different looks that they create when you pull the slider up. So if you put dramatic up, it's almost like a desat, it's almost like the clarity slider if you pull it up. Now I don't like that one so much, but with the one I really do love is this, not this one, the one I really do love is this one. So the mystical one. Looks like it blurs the background and blurs the colors to make it look magical, and then it doesn't affect the detail. So if we zoom in, you can see that she still looks pretty good, right? But it's softened a lot of the sharpness in the image. So if you look at like edges like this, you'll see it's much softer. It's also softened all the highlights. So everything looks a little bit dreamier, right? Let me show it to you on another image. So let's do it on this one. So if we go into mystical and we just add in some, you'll see it softens the whole image, gives you that like Instagram dreamy look, but it doesn't affect your details, which is very, very cool. Now, you can obviously do less of this. I'm doing quite a bit of it, but we will pull that down, that down. It softens everything and makes it look a bit less harsh. All right, now the last thing that I love about this program that I'd like to show you is the advanced contrast in this professional section. If you have an image like this where there's a very bright area like this line on a leg, but you want to bring it down without bringing everything else down, if you just pull this highlight contrast down, right, and then you move this slider, you can either make the highlights go up or the highlights come down. So if I want to bring down the sky of something that I've blown out, the highlight contrast, and then pull this way. If you pull it too far, it's obviously going to make your image look a bit funny, but just a little bit. This is really nice for getting your image a bit more control. So you can basically say just the highlights, now do contrast in the highlight area, or just the midtones, do contrast shift in the midtones. So that's another reason I love to use this. If I have an image that's got a problem, I don't know if we can try it on one of these. Let's see. So on this image, if we do highlight contrast, if we pull highlight contrast up, you'll see the very bright area. We can shift it up or down. So if you want to bring down the highlight, you can see like on her forehead, it is just bringing down the highlights over here. Let me just show you. Okay, so it's a very cool trick to control your contrast in the highlight. Now the last thing I want to do is just show you how to use this inside of Photoshop. So here is my Photoshop image. If I wanted to do an adjustment, what I would do is I always go Control J, make a duplicate. Then I go Filter, Skylum, Luminar 4. Then it will open the software inside of Photoshop. It just give it a second. And then when you exit it, it's going to add it to that layer. So give me a second. So we're going to do a whole bunch of things that we don't really need to do. We're going to do AI enhance. We're going to do skin enhance. We're going to add it up there. And then, all right, let's just do that for now. So we say apply. It's going to apply all of that to the layer. All right, and then once you're back in Photoshop, you'll see it applies, and now it's on this layer only. Now, the good thing with this is if we don't want all of this to affect the person, we can just put a mask. We can zoom into her. We can take a paintbrush, take a black paintbrush, and we can remove it off of her. See? So whatever you've done to, so if you wanted to do something to the background and you didn't want to do something to her, this is obviously the best way to do it, because then you can mask yourself backwards and fix the image. All right, so that was my 5-ish reasons of why you should try Luminar. Now, again, I do make a kickback when you guys buy this software, but the trial is free. So go down in the description, click Luminar, there's a trial, try it out. If you decide to buy the program, they're obviously gonna say thank you and give me a few bucks. It's not a lot, but if a lot of you buy it, maybe I can afford to pay rent. So yeah, I want you guys to try it out. Just try the free one. A lot of the features are open to free stuff, and I think you got like a few, I don't know, I'll figure out how many days. I'll put it right here on screen and give it a go. If you enjoy it, buy it, try it out, let me know what you think. If you guys want more in-depth tutorials on this, I will spend a bit more time on each feature. And if you want to do a live, we can do a live on YouTube, and we can discuss little things you want me to do. I will be going live soon. So if you guys want me to do one of your photos live on Luminar, send me it. I will gladly edit it for you and show you what it's capable of. Otherwise, download the trial, click the link below, and then if you buy it, I really appreciate that too. There is other software down there as well, especially Squarespace. I will also be doing show you how to build a website, really easy Squarespace video. They don't sponsor me either, maybe one day. But for now, I want you guys to just give it a go. Let me know what you think about these. Was it weird? Did I rush over it a bit too much? Let me know. Otherwise, I will do it per video. Maybe I'll do one called Luminar Sky Replacement. I'll only do that. But I wanted to give you the first few reasons why I love using it and why I bought it for myself. So, hope you guys enjoyed it. Links below. Subscribe, like, click the bell, and thank you for watching. I will see you next time. Peace. Hello?
Yes, yes it is. It is that high.
Hello. My name is Rob Harris from Optical Noise Photography. Michelle's making a noise. You're not helping by clapping. Are you done?
Maybe.
Can I clap now? Especially on images where your focus was a little bit soft. Okay, I gotta do all of that again because I wasn't recording.